Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. So it wouldn't be Warhammer if we weren't talking about scalping or a scalping incident in the hobby every now and then, and we've now got another reason to talk about it. And in this video I want to talk about what happened with the Era of Ruin pre-order, why I think Games Workshop's response was actually pretty good, but also why I don't think this issue is going to go away anytime soon, no matter how much we push Games Workshop to invest in new technology or their website and so on. So anyways, let's get into it. This is the new Era of Ruin special edition that went out. These Siege of Terra books have all come with special editions, and if you've been collecting these, you've noticed it's become increasingly harder to complete the set because there's been a lot of botting activity on the pre-orders, and this one was a little bit different in some respects. Games Workshop took the pre-order and put it out on a Tuesday, yesterday, which I think was a smart idea because it separates it from all the various other pre-orders that typically happen on a Saturday for Games Workshop. And if you're queuing up for, say, the latest Age of Sigmar release or Kill Team release, it probably is a bit annoying to have to join a queue system for 30 minutes or an hour while you know you're waiting for something that everyone else isn't. So I do think this is probably a sign that these very anticipated releases will probably shift to other days that aren't the main pre-order days, if you know what I mean. But anyways, this is the new special edition. A lot of people are very excited for it. It went out for pre-order and the queue system launched, so you jump on the Games Workshop website, you see your place in the queue, your estimated time, and you just wait for your opportunity to buy things like a lot of retailers do. However, the website went down pretty soon after, and people were wondering if this was a sign that Games Workshop's website still can't handle the traffic. They're a multi-billion pound company and they're still struggling with basic website infrastructure apparently. Well, no, actually Games Workshop released an update explaining what happened, and the nutshell of it is that they spotted a lot of botting activity or signs of botting activity with the pre-order window when it went live, because it went live at the same time everywhere, and so they basically just pulled the plug on everything, not just the queuing system and the pre-order, but the whole website, just to shut it down and allow them to kind of reset things. A lot of people were quite surprised by that, but now that they've shared this information and said basically we're going to postpone the Era of Ruin pre-order until we're in a better state to do it, and we're just going to try and see what we can do to make sure that fans get hold of this book, not the various scalpers and people who want to take advantage of this book. The response to this particular post has been overwhelmingly positive. Games Workshop has had a lot of good clout at the moment because of the bonuses that it gave its staff. I think it was giving each staff member an average of £18,000 for their work this year. That might be wrong on the figure, but they gave them a lot of money at the end of the day. And now they're starting to kind of put fans first over just selling product, which I think, again, is another good sign that Games Workshop isn't this terrible company that everyone thinks it is. But in any case, what I think is good about this response is they've put fans first. They pulled the plug on their entire website. So if you were trying to buy anything on the website, you were struggling to do it, which I think was the right response. They also spotted this botting activity, which I think is an encouraging sign. I'll talk about this more in a second because I do think they're going to have to get better at spotting this activity. But the fact they're able to do this now, I think shows there is a window for pre-orders at Games Workshop to become a lot more, just better at separating human buyers from technology buyers, or the bots, the AIs, those sorts of things. And that puts Games Workshop back in control of their own pre-order system, because before it was they released a product and whoever bought it. But that said, while I think this is a really good sign, just from a mental perspective, but also a technology perspective, we need to realize that at the end of the day, this problem isn't going to go away. Largely because, and I'm no expert in this field, but I work for a company that is building things like this. Agentic AI is going to be coming out very soon for people. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically AI at the moment is thought about in terms of ChatGPT and these large language models. We're going to have a new form of that come out where, and it's already in place in some businesses, where you'll be able to effectively talk to a chatbot and say, and this is the example I saw, I want to buy a phone, this is my budget, buy me this phone, and the AI will go and scan the web pages for you. You don't have to do anything. No more trawling through listings, no more Googling. It will go and find a phone that fits the parameters you spelt out. It will order it, set the shipping, and just tell you when it's going to come to your doorstep or where you're going to pick it up. That technology is really useful for a lot of people. It's going to become part of how we buy things, because it's going to be really useful to say to an AI, can you carry out my weekly shop and get it delivered sometime after 5 p.m. on a weekday? It's going to, it's going to be really useful just for Warhammer to say, actually, you know what? Here's a list of items that I want for my new army. Can you go and find the best price and order them all from one retailer, whether that's Warhammer, Alchemist Workshop here in the UK, Wayland Games, and so on. Basically, this kind of botting technology is going to become more mainstream for a lot of us. And so when that becomes apparent, and we say in 18 months' time, or however long it takes, pre-order me the new Era of Ruin Collector's Edition. And the pre-order goes live at 10 a.m. and the AI goes and buys it. How is Games Workshop going to know that I'm a legitimate buyer using technology to buy it, as opposed to someone sitting in a queue? Because at the end of the day, no one wants to sit in a queue for concert tickets or, things like this. They want to go and get on with their days. So we have to be prepared that this issue isn't going to become a problem. It's just we're going to have the technology that these people are using to get ahead of us. And that's going to become a real issue. If people think that technology is going to solve this, I think it just will equalize it. At the end of the day, and particularly when you see things like concert tickets, this isn't an issue just for Games Workshop either. Concert tickets are a big issue. The Beyonce concert where Scalpers took a lot of the tickets and the stadiums were empty in some places. Like big stars, I'm not a Beyonce fan, but just using an example, big stars are finding that actually Scalpers are ruining their experiences for them and their fans. So it's not a Games Workshop issue. The solution probably won't come from Games Workshop. It will be some bigger, wider technological solution. And also, it will have to respond to the fact that we're getting new technology that helps us access and buy things in new ways. So what are the solutions going forward? I do wonder if Games Workshop will start to go down the route that Nintendo went with the Switch 2. Again, another thing that was potentially heavily scalped. They initially, at least on their website, said you can't buy it from us unless you have a Nintendo online account. So would Games Workshop say you can buy Era of Ruin from us, but you need to have a Warhammer Plus subscription? I don't know if that means the bots can't access it, if one person who runs all those bots gets a subscription or whatnot. I don't know if people will even like it, but basically the concept is, how do you put friendly-ish barriers in place that kind of prevent the bots but can be overcome easy enough by human beings who want to buy this stuff? I personally wouldn't mind. I'm subscribed to Warhammer Plus, but I'm also not buying these collection sets. Another option would be some form of verification, but I don't know what that solution is. Like AI is getting even better at these kind of, these pattern codes and things you've got to click, like click the motorcycles and do this kind of rotation thing to align something with something else. AI is getting better at solving those. So at some point, how do you separate human verification from AI verification? I don't know. And I'm not trying to get into like an AI TED talk, but just to kind of put my 2 cents out that this isn't a Warhammer problem. This is human and technology problem. And the only way Games Workshop could simply solve it is just produce these collections on demand. Just say, look, order one and we will send it to you. That could be a straightforward enough solution, but obviously then Games Workshop needs to set aside an indefinite amount of production capacity to produce these books, which might not be sustainable. And then you get into questions around price. I mean, at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to just overly defend Games Workshop here, but I do think they are a good company in a lot of ways. They could ramp up prices. A lot of companies out there would just simply say, my product sells out, I'll keep ramping up prices until it doesn't. And the scalpers would pay that, to be quite frank. So it's good that Games Workshop hasn't responded in that way. But in any case, this is a really good response. I think it's the sign of response it's a response that shows and is a clear sign that they get the problem, they understand what fans want, and they're willing to take extreme measures, and that was an extreme measure, pulling down their website, because it wasn't warned, it confused a lot of people. They're willing to take those steps to ensure this gets to the right people, or the right people being people who genuinely want to own it and not just make a profit off of those people who want to own it. But we all have to be realistic about what's possible, because at the end of the day, I could go and buy this when it comes out. Hopefully, maybe I can't, but I could buy it with the intention of selling on eBay at a profit. That makes me a scalper, but how does Games Workshop know that? And I think that's really hard to control for any company, because at the end of the day, you know, people will go and make profit of other people when they see things that are valuable, and it's not just in models and Warhammer, it's in everything you can imagine. So anyways, I'm keen to hear your thoughts. Is there a company out there that gets this, like can actually control scalping a lot better than others? Like, how do they do it? And what's your idea for how Games Workshop can actually do a better job here? Is it technology? Is it putting things behind the Warhammer Plus subscription? I don't know. I'm keen to hear your thoughts. But overall, I think it's a step in the right direction. But I think we all have to be patient and understand this isn't an easy fix. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because it's not one or the other. It's a very grey area, literally. So, yeah. In any case, thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. But do share your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But until the next video, I do hope you take care, and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.